anybody out there that is currently battling through allergy season as I am, we stand in solidarity and I feel your pain. You've probably noticed the difference in my voice, at least this week. It's been a tough one. This is just about the worst season that I've ever experienced personally, but hey, life goes on. So just wanted to mention that, and I feel all you guys out there in the altcoin buzz army that may be similarly suffering. Okay, moving right along though, we're going to discuss some macro trends today, including the weakness right now of the US dollar for a couple of different reasons, some of them political, some of them economic in nature. We'll also take a look at the Vienna and Singapore stock exchanges that seem to be embracing Bitcoin and Ethereum. Then we have that big Effect.ai news. There's a new listing that we'd like to discuss, as well as that initiative with Ivan on tech. Chainlink tokens seem to be disappearing, or at least moving out of exchanges. It's just an observation for now. We can't really quite make heads or tails of it, but it's something that we should point out that is important. NOIA was one of our favorites, our low market cap gems, and a pick that we said should be on your radar because it is on ours. We'll let you know about their August update. It includes some highlights such as Oracle partner ambassadors, Uniswap, AMAs, and more information there. Then we have some big news with regard to StormX STMX, another one of our low market cap gems. All kinds of StormX info and updates to go through. Guys, if you like this kind of content, Bitcoin, blockchain, and cryptocurrency, then be sure to like and subscribe. Let's kick things off with a look at the market today. We're on CoinGecko.com. Down again, unfortunately, down 3.8%. So we've tumbled a little bit in these last 24 hours, $382.2 billion. When you think about it, we've erased about $20 billion, just over that, in fact, from the total cryptocurrency market cap in the last 36 or so hours. So it's been a little bit rough. I mean, think about it. Bitcoin was trading just above 12K. We seem to be in a fairly positive territory with a lot of confidence. Ethereum was surging and leading the charge, and now unfortunately we are down quite a bit. Multiple projects down 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8% or more. It looks like Bitcoin is down, but its losses do not seem to be commensurate with some of those that we're seeing in altcoins. Bitcoin down only 2.8% in these last 24 hours, sitting now at $11,384 with a dominance that seems to be rising as well, 55% flat. Taking a look at the macro perspective now, we're on CNBC.com with this piece. The US dollar could be in a decade-long decline, analysts say. Of course, we've been talking about, I guess, matters related to this for some time, arguably for years on this channel, but the macroeconomic policies haven't really changed. The outlook really isn't improving. I still, my contention is that we're in this decade-long credit binge, or at least we're very much addicted as a society to fast and free money in the form of credit, but it's not really fundamentally anything that is healthy or that is sustaining us in the long term. Here are a few points here, and you can imagine what this is all about. We're talking here about political instability. We're talking about quantitative easing and the approach to, in some cases, what are very expensive stimulus bills that are being used to combat coronavirus and the effects of the pandemic. So key points here. The dollar fell to a key area against the euro Tuesday as part of a downtrend that has been in place since March. Strategists say the dollar could be in a long-term trend that is driven by the Fed's easy policies, and it could continue to be in a bear market for a decade. It's the first time I've heard this in terms of that, trajectory, a decade. That's certainly a long time. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell's announcement that the Fed will not automatically tighten policies or raise rates when inflation begins to rise above its 2% target reconfirmed that the U.S. rates will be super low for a long period of time and negative for the dollar. And again, guys, go check out, for example, a Joe Rogan podcast with Peter Schiff if you'd like to have a more long-form discussion about Federal Reserve interest rates and inflation rates. But the idea here is that, we're not performing at any fundamental level as far as macroeconomic policy. And yet the Fed is still, really now it's been the case for a decade, the Fed is providing very low interest, either 0% or in some cases negative interest rates that don't really have anything that is adding to the economy in terms of its health, in terms of where we stand to help strengthen the fiscal policy. Very low interest rates just mean that money is cheap. You can borrow money for relatively little or no cost. cost, and that's fine. But that, again, is what is fueling this credit, this consumption-based, debt-based economic culture that we live in. And here's the conversion as it stands right now. As you can see, $1 is equivalent to about 0.85 or 85% of a euro, meaning the euro is more valuable, right? Because you have 0.85 of a euro is equivalent to $1, so €1 is going to be more than $1. It's a small chart, so you may have trouble seeing this here, but as you can see, the decline has been very pronounced, the decline of the dollar's value since about, I would say even earlier than March, really, but beginning in March as far as that precipitous drop down. As you can see here, it was a lot higher, 0.92 here earlier in May of this year, and maybe at its peak for 2020, as you can see here, the 20th of March, we're looking at 0.938. It's a very significant nosedive, and of course it's been fueled by all kinds of things, including increasing instability, really kind of like social upheaval in the form of everything that's happening in the States, unfortunately, the riots, the social mayhem, the social alienation that some people are feeling, not to mention the fact that we're leading up to an election cycle. And then you have on top of that, of course, the pandemic, and not only the pandemic, the effects of the pandemic on businesses, the effects of the pandemic on people's livelihoods, but also the fact that the Federal Reserve and other central banks across the world have responded to the pandemic with stimulus package. And look, one way or another, you can make the argument, do we need that? Do we not? I'm not here to really debate those finer details, but I will quite plainly state that we cannot afford, speaking for the US, to pay for the measures that we're putting in place. It's that simple. I've talked about it before. If the United States were any kind of a company publicly traded, their board of directors would be fired in a heartbeat. They'd be absolutely insolvent and bankrupt. So look, whether or not you feel the measures we're employing to fight coronavirus are necessary, we cannot afford them. It's just that simple. So as the exchange rate of the USD suffers, here's kind of the flip side of that. We have some positive news for Bitcoin and Ethereum over in Vienna and Singapore. Their stock exchanges embrace both of those assets. We're here on Cointelegraph.com. The Vienna Stock Exchange, or Wiener Börse, has become just the third official regulated market worldwide to list a Bitcoin product. The exchange listed 21 shares AG's Bitcoin and Ethereum exchange-traded products, ETPs, ABTC and AETH on the 1st of September. This is 21 shares tweeting here on the 1st of September. Exciting news today. Our Bitcoin and Ethereum ETPs, ABTC and AETH are the first crypto-centric ETPs admitted on Wiener Börse, the Vienna Stock Exchange, one of the most established exchanges in Central, Eastern, and Southeastern Europe. And in another boost to the institutional adoption of cryptocurrency, Singapore Exchange, SGX, announced it would list price indices for Bitcoin and Ethereum in partnership with UK-based crypto data firm Crypto Compare. While the indices do not enable SGX users to trade cryptocurrencies, the price feeds can be used by the other Singaporean firms seeking to launch Bitcoin or Ethereum products, a way to track the price fluctuations of the crypto assets in real time from a trusted source. Quote, as the world moves swiftly towards digitization in the creation and accumulation of wealth, digital assets are increasingly being adopted by investors. That's from Simon Caraban, SGX's head of index services. So I kind of list this story here as the second place news item that we cover to provide some juxtaposition here. You can see the stark contrast, and I know it's just one anecdotal example. I know it's just Vienna and Singapore, and I know it's just Bitcoin and Ethereum, but you can slowly see the momentum building here. Look, guys, the world is opening up more and more to this technology. It's more and more credible every day. People are seeing it as more legitimate. It is legitimizing itself on a daily basis. So I think it stands in stark contrast to what we're seeing here, which, I alluded to earlier. I would suggest my argument would be that what we're seeing here in the decreasing and the faltering exchange rate of the USD is the failure of traditional central banks, particularly the US Federal Reserve. Okay, switching gears now into altcoins, our friends over at Effect.ai, ticker EFX, have a big announcement. They have been listed on Kucoin. They're sharing the news with this tweet here. EFX is listed on Kucoin as of today. We are excited about this new milestone. And we highlighted, guys, Effect.ai some weeks ago as a high potential project. They were, for many reasons, a low market cap gem that we thought, is definitely on our radar. Perhaps they should be on your radar as well. Go back and check out our video videos where we've covered them in more detail, but they seem to be doing good work. We also talked about yesterday how there would be a major announcement, or at least an announcement with regard to the Ivan on Tech channel. Here it is on medium.com. Effect.ai partners with Ivan on Tech Academy. So ultimately for educational purposes, they're tweeting about this too. We're thrilled to announce our partnership with Ivan on Tech. His education program will be incorporated into our Effect.ai and blockchain centers in Georgia with UN and soon in Kenya with Akon. And of course, you can learn more about that on the medium.com article that we just overviewed. So good news all around, and kudos and congratulations are in order to our friends over at Effect.ai. Okay, moving right along, here is something that we've observed, and we don't want to get too speculative here because, again, it's just an observation for the time being, but one that is starting to garner more and more attention. Will Clemente here on Twitter summarizing the observation. Almost 1 million LINK tokens removed from exchanges in a day, just one day. Wow. Do they know something? So again, speaking for ourselves, we can't say we know anything just yet, but some are suggesting that some of the smaller players and even perhaps some of the mini whales are taking their tokens off exchanges to avoid and perhaps end manipulation, maybe some price suppression. Look, I'm not saying that is the case. That's what some are saying out there. They could be wrong. They could be correct. I don't know. There's really not much more to this story that we can discuss right now, but just about 1 million tokens removed, LINK tokens removed from exchanges in a day. This is a developing story. We'll let it marinate a little bit and hopefully provide you guys with some updates either later in the day or perhaps tomorrow. In other news, we're looking at August updates for NOIA, which is another low market cap gem that we highlighted some weeks ago. We're very excited about all the work that they're doing. And here on medium.com, we have news about Oracle partnerships, ambassadors, Uniswap, AMAs, Ask Me Anything, and more. So August is often a slow month in the Northern Hemisphere and sometimes in crypto, but not really this year and not really for NOIA. Here is what NOIA achieved. The network partnered with Oracle by joining its partner network, a select group of trusted companies that work together to build, sell, and service cloud-based software. 33 community members worldwide joined the ranks of NOIA ambassadors, committing to support our executive, marketing, and developer teams. We added $50,000 worth of liquidity to the NOIA Ethereum Uniswap pair. Developers have been working intensely to assist with launch. We're scaling the team significantly, so we can likely expect some additions to the staffing roster in the very near future, which we'll share with you guys as that news becomes available. The executive team went on an AMA sprint through several Telegram channels. Maybe you guys participated. On Twitter, our CTO, Chief Technical Officer Jonas, shared his thoughts on our partnership with Hefeist and laid down 13 reasons why he is bullish on NOIA. And finally, the DARP protocol, DARP, which autonomously routes NOIA network traffic along the lowest latency paths, underwent significant improvements. Guys, for a further breakdown of all of those points, all of those individual accomplishments, you can check out the rest of this piece here on medium.com. We'll link to it, of course, in the description below. And finally, for today, we have some great updates from our friends over at StormX. Ticker is STMX. Handle is StormXIO on Twitter. Make sure you're following. We highlighted StormX, again, some weeks ago as a relatively low market cap gem that was on our radar because they seem to be bridging the gap between cryptocurrency and blockchain and everyday consumerism, everyday companies that we all use, that we all give our money to in exchange for various products and services. So here are a whole slew of positive updates on Twitter. This week, we at StormX added 8 stores to shop, including eBay, Alibaba, Michael Kors, and others. StormX also opened our official Telegram channel, adding a popular DeFi token on the app by the end of the week, and worked nonstop on staking. You can check the image here for a sneak preview. This is very preliminary, but we should have more information soon for you about this staking initiative. Continuing right along here, 3 new shops have just hit the StormX app. There's something for everyone with these shops. Yves Rocher, where you can get up to 15% crypto back, 15%. Hotels.com, up to 4% crypto back. And a great brand here, Tommy Bahama, that's offering up to 2% crypto back. Moving right along now, guess what? Alibaba is now available. Chrome extension desktop only. Now let's get to shopping, and you can earn 4.9% crypto back. This is a global initiative, and of course, Alibaba is a pretty good brand and a pretty good partner to have alongside you in your efforts, so kudos to StormX on that. And finally, eBay is back. Here, highlighting Simon Yu's tweet, Our number one store, eBay, is back in the US and Canada today for StormX IO. It's available in all these different countries here that are listed. I imagine others will be available soon as well. You don't have to gamble to own crypto. You can earn it easily by shopping with us. And I guess that's the crux of the message, guys, and that's what attracts us to this model. They have all kinds of partnerships. They have a growing roster of different everyday brands and everyday companies with which most of us already do business, with which most of us already transact. And so again, cryptocurrency is not necessarily this crazy, highly speculative Wild West sector that it used to be a couple of years ago. In many cases, it still is. Don't get me wrong. It's still evolving and developing every day. But there's so many opportunities right now, including with what StormX is doing, that is allowing us to basically capitalize on our positions in cryptocurrency and passively earn income while basically using the brands and the services that we already do on an everyday basis. This is what provides for more natural and organic integration, and it's what leads to increasing credibility and, of course, mass adoption. So kudos once again to the StormX team. Keep these guys on your radar. No doubt we'll be updating you soon with new initiatives. That about wraps it up for today, everybody. Do be sure you're following us on all the regular social media channels and keep checking back into altcoinbuzz.io for all the latest. Go ahead, like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell to receive notifications, of course, if you've enjoyed today's video. Best of luck, guys, if you choose to invest on this Thursday. Hey, for all the allergy sufferers out there in the altcoin buzz army, I feel you. We stand in solidarity. It's been a tough week for me, personally speaking. No doubt you've heard it, but look, home stretch soon, at least where I am. The weather's going to start changing. Once that first frost hits, that's usually when things improve for me. So hopefully you're doing better than I am, but if you're in the same boat, I feel you. We'll get through this. Guys, stay safe out there. As always, we do hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.